Let's talk Women Talk.
Hi, I'm Erin, and in the first part of this two-part video, we talked about how to talk to your kids about sex or sexuality. So in the second part today, we're going to talk more about you in particular. So how would you get more comfortable with this topic? Take a deeper look and look at, are there any thoughts or expectations you have around how things should be? Because in the end, there's no dogmatic truth when it comes to how sex should be or should not be. How sex looks changes as we age, as we go through different life stages. And so when we think of it as constant, that's when we start to panic when things don't look like that anymore, but it's actually very normal. And another thing to reflect on, other than what your beliefs might be around sex, is what assumptions you might have around how other genders should be or how you should be, because there's a lot of rules or what we call scripts that we grow up with that dictate how we behave sexually. A lot of these beliefs are very much tied to our gender. And so when we talk about reflection, that is another really good place to reflect on. I don't mean like practice the act of sex. This is about practicing having conversations about sex, because a lot of parents feel very uncomfortable talking about this area with their kids, and that's natural. If you've never done it in your life with anybody, it's very hard to start now. And trial and error is kind of the thing to keep in mind. Trial and error, practice, and then the more natural we'll feel when it comes to having those conversations with your kids. So in the previous video, or part one, we talked about using facts when we have these conversations with kids. But how do you go about getting those facts, right? How do you go about familiarizing yourself with this area? Other than some books that I will recommend that you can see at the end of this video, there are a few things that you can try. And one is just around your anatomy. For a lot of women, it's something that they've either never done before or have not done in a long time. And that is just to put a mirror between your legs and to have a look. And this might be what you see. So this is a vulva puppet. So this is the clitoral head that you might see. It might be proportionally as big as this or smaller. And there's the clitoral head. And then there's the outer and the inner labia. This exercise, it's not especially sexual. It can be if you want it to be, but it's more just an exploration to get familiar with this part. Because usually there's a lot of taboo and shame and embarrassment when it comes to this part. And by becoming more familiar, it can be a very empowering exercise for you to do, which then comes through when you have those conversations with your daughters or even with your sons. And another fun thing to get familiar with, you can Google this, the clitoris. So just now I said this is the clitoral head, and there's a reason, because this is what the clitoris actually looks like. This is the tip that you see, but everything else is actually underneath the skin. And it's actually an entire muscle. And when you get aroused, the entire thing engorges, kind of like a penis. So I hope this has helped you have some tangible ways and tangible actions that you can take to get a bit more familiar with this area. But also remember, in the end, you are the expert of your own body, of your sexuality. And at the end of the day, just remember, you do you, boo-boo.